This measurement being 6 7/8, I add 1/8 of an inch on my measurement from the top of the jamb here. Yeah. So I line it up, made my mark, and I set the hinge at 7 inches.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, you could go from the top of the hinge to the bottom of the hinge, as long as you make the same marks from the, if I can, taking it from the bottom here, and I go to the top of this hinge. So as long as I make that same measurement and set the hinge, which you don't have to do too much on this one. Original notches are a little deeper than what we really need, so we'll just try and keep it a little less. Yeah, see.
So you want it to be flush, right?
Yeah, you don't want
going inside.
Yeah, see, because then what happens is, because of that little bit of a 16th there,
yeah,
it ends up binding against the door, I mean, the jamb there.
Yeah.
You see? Too deep.
Right there is too deep.
And if you know, I use my thumb here as a bit of a guideline so that my blade does.
And what are you doing here or there?
Well, when you're working with a chisel, the best thing to do is you want to have as sharp of an edge as possible, right? Now, a sharpening stone works best, but if you don't have a sharpening stone handy, just use any type of sandpaper. What we're doing here, okay, like to turn around and make this into a proper size hinge, I like to score it with a utility knife to give myself a bit of a clean edge. And then you're gonna know when you're using the chisel, I like to start with the flat side to the edge to where I'm. So what you want to do, that being my line right there where I want the chisel to ultimately end up, I like to start back just a little touch, you know, a little over 1/16 of an inch, so that when I do hit my hammer,
hold on a second,
it will move forward to the spot that I need. Okay? You see how see how.
Now when you're using that side of the chisel, the angle is facing down, right?
Yes. See, if you go like this, have the flat edge of your chisel working, you can't control your pitch in of your chisel. So what ends up happening, you could go deeper than you really want it. So when you're working off the small edge, it's easy to control the depth of it, being that I could turn it to go deeper.
Or pull it up,
pull
like
it up
go
to
down
go less.
Kind of thing,
Right? And when you're chiseling, you want to work in little bits. You know, you don't want to try and get a whole chunk at one time. We're just going to add a little bit of filler, which is going to be about a 3/4 inch piece.
Oh, they're in my hand here. Sorry. There you go.
Okay. This paper is going to work just as good.
A small piece there?
Another little piece just on this side to build it up a little bit more, which is going to bring us to, well, it looks like it's going to be 2 pieces. Okay.
Plus the screw itself is going to suck it in and the wood's soft, right? So you want to go a little higher.
Right, so okay, there we got it nice and solid now too.
What's happening here?
Okay.
Yeah, pretty well flush with the top.
Because the original hole that was in the hole in the jamb originally has pushed it out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna back this screw off, and we're gonna start with the other screws first.
Okay.
There we go. So we're gonna come right into the exterior hole. Okay. You don't want it to be flush like this, because what ends up happening is the edge of the hinge here is going to end up interfering with the closing of the door.
So you want to stick it out just an 1/8 of an inch from
just
the
about
edge.
1/8 of an inch or so from the edge. Okay. We have this extra bit of paper here. Easy way to cut it off is use your edge of your hinge gently, very carefully.
Boom.
Cut it off,
Can't even
nice.
tell.
Okay, now you can see up here we have one of the original holes, which could cause a bit of a problem for us. So we're going to start with the other 2 holes first. Just taking another piece of paper, folding it over, just trying to fill up our little bit of a void that we're going to have behind it. Right? It even looks like it's going to be more than 2-fold. Could be even there. A little bit of an angle because it was catching that original hole. So now that we're going into that original hole and you see our screw going up like this, we're going to start it going down. And that way, it goes in. Okay, so just line up the 2 hinges together. Okay, once you get that in, see now because I had it mounted on the jamb already, I could easily do this by myself.
Yeah.
Now if you wanted to screw the hinge into the jamb, that's when you need a second set of hands to be stable, very stable for you. Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't set the pin in all the way.
Okay.
Now I'm coming to the bottom. Okay, I'm hoping that it's gonna line up perfectly. Okay, we are just about a 1/16 of an inch off.
Okay.
Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna back the screws off just a little bit. Okay, now because of the screw is smaller than the hole in,
There's a little bit of play there.
we have a little bit of play. So now we're able to line up our hinges together. Okay, you see how we got that lined up very nice.
Beautiful.
Okay, all right. Now you get your pin lined up. Now that the pin is inside, then you just go and retighten your screws.
Wow.
And it works out fine. We hope that everything works out good. Now we're gonna close our door. One little problem that we're running into right now is that the door isn't closing. See how we're getting a little bit of a spring action?
Like a spring thing, yeah.
Okay, this is why you want to have your hinges more flush to the edge of the door.
Yeah.
Because one of the factors that's coming into play is the fact that the jambs are all painted. It's not a smooth, clean, even surface.
Yeah. Here now is the door isn't really closing. It's binding on the back as we saw previously.
That's right.
And so Anthony here believes it's the Robertsons that I put in. They're not the right ones, and they're protruding from the edge just a little bit.
The actual head isn't sinking. So now that we've replaced the screws, there isn't that much more of a spring. But we still find that we do have a spring to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right at the bottom, man. Right at the bottom of the door. So as you can see, what we did was we had, because the frame is so warped, and if you look on when the door is closed here, from the top all the way down to the bottom, you can see the gap really starts to open up, right? And that's just because it's an old house. What happened was the door was binding just a little bit, giving it a bit of a kickback, spring back, right, Anthony?
That's right.
Right. So we did what we can by shimming up the back of the hinges, but at the end we had to shim them up a little bit, and what I used was the end of a paint stir stick. And we put that on the bottom there, and ever since we've done that, all of a sudden now, this old door on this crooked frame now closes beautifully. Okay, there we go. I got the light on.
Very nice.
Closes nice. Look at that. Beautiful. Got a door. We got a door.
Hi, you've reached Anthony and Rusty's Home Improvements. What can I help you with?